Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear Review, and today we're looking at the GWM 500. This is a watch that I actually kind of like. This has got some things about it that I like. There's obviously one thing I don't like. It's the 3 dials. I'm going to get that out of the way. I hate the 3 dials across the top. Waste of time. And let's just get it over with. You got to use a magnifying lens just to see what the 3 dials actually represent. And I still struggle just a little bit with it. I was just turning on the auto electroluminescent light, the auto EL light, which you hold down the light button here at the 6 o'clock position. And then you'll see in the 3rd dial on the right, you'll see a little pie piece that in the lower left portion of that dial illuminate with a black pie piece there, saying that the auto light is on. So this is a watch that I actually really like. I think it's a wonderful watch. It has tough solar. It is a great looking watch. It has multi-band 6. So when you're looking for just a watch that's low maintenance and kind of a different look to it, this might be a watch for you. I've worn this one a lot. I actually like the looks of it. I like the look of the dial. I'm sorry, the display, the centerpiece where the numbers are, because the numbers are so bold. It's really easy to see the time without glasses on. So for me, this is something that I really like. It also has a power save feature, so you can save the battery over time. If it's in a dark environment, it'll turn everything off until it gets into a light environment and then turns everything back on. The 3 dials are just a waste of space. I can't stand them. You guys know that. The date on the bottom with the day of the week is also there. It's okay. I wish those 3 dials were gone and that was bigger. The time was a little bit bigger. Everything would be just more functional with the watch overall. Now, the fit and finish of the watch is classic Casio, but it has some nice polish in here. This is what I like about the look of this watch. You've got some dull silver in here, but you've got some polished faux chrome on there. The buttons are recessed a little bit, but they're big enough to where you can get your fingertip in there and activate those buttons, unlike the Square, where it's much more difficult to get in there and press the button. So this, I think, actually works as far as not having buttons that are easily pressed. It's a G-Shock function or G-Shock watch, so you've got yourself, I think, a really good setup for the buttons, not being pressed, not being banged around on, things like that. But just the overall design and look of this watch, I absolutely love it. Now, the fit on this watch is the same. It's the classic Casio spacing on the strap. The strap it's okay. I love the texturing on here. Again, when you look at this watch, with all the things that are going on in this watch, it is a beautiful Casio watch. I say beautiful. You don't say that about Casios very often, but this one actually is. The texturing on the strap is awesome. The different kind of finishes on the case, the plastic finishes on here is awesome. You've got the black, you got the polished chrome, you've got the brushed fake chrome, that kind of thing. The text on here, there's quite a bit of text on there. Not a fan of all the text, but overall, I like it. The recessed light button at the 6 o'clock position works just fine. It's big enough where I can get my thumb in there, press that button, no problem whatsoever. Again, can't stand the 3 radius or the 3 dials there at the top. Waste of time. Now, back to the strap for a second. You've got a nice chrome metal buckle here, pin buckle. You got the G-Shock keeper on here. But you also have a wedge at the end of the strap so that it keeps the keeper from sliding off the end of the strap when it's on your wrist. So I love that. Any watch that has that wedge at the end or just a little bit of a bump there at the end really does a good job of keeping the keeper from sliding off the end, the tag end of the strap, and your tag ends just start sticking out as you're wearing it. So for me, well, let's just show you. I got the Steel Dive Willard on right now. We'll swap out the Casio on here. I really like the looks of this watch. I think it looks great. The downside is the dimensions. The chunkiness factor on this watch is really chunky. 2.7 overall. It's at the bottom of my list. I only have 2 others that are worse than this. The W800, the Gray Man, and the GBDH 2000 have a higher chunkiness factor than this watch. So yeah, it's a chunky watch, and you can see it sits high off the wrist, but it's also a fairly narrow case diameter. So the case diameter on this one is, let's see, GW M500. It's 46 millimeters across and 16.6 millimeters high off the wrist. So yeah, it's a chunky looking watch. Now, if you're going for that, if you like all the different textures and angles and colors and finishes on here, you're going to love it. I love it for that reason. I overlook kind of the chunkiness because of the looks of the watch, and it just does a great job. Plus, with a tough solar, multi-band 6, you just put it in the windowsill, let it charge for a few days. It gets the updated time on there as well if you're in a atomic time reading area. And it does a great job. Typical features on here, we've got the world time, we've also got the alarm, we've got stopwatch, timer, and that's it. And I forget how many alarms are on here. Let's see. Let me double check the alarms on here. 5 alarms, 24-hour timer. Yeah, so it's all great. Full auto backlight. So when you roll your wrist, that's the auto EL function that you see in that third dial there. You'll see a pie piece light up, and all you do is you hold down the light button until that piece fills in, and then you've got the auto light feature on. Now, because it's tough solar, you don't have to worry about this. It's not going to turn off automatically after 6 hours like it would be on the GD350. This one, just like the Square, the 5610U, once you turn it on, it stays on. Just keep it at the windowsill. Battery's fully charged. It's going to run a long time with the auto light feature on here. Okay, so overall, nice. I like it. I like the fit. It's pretty good. It's nothing to write home about as far as the overall fit on here. I love the fitness watch types where you get many more holes on here that you get to choose from, making the fitment of those watches much better. This is the this is the GBD 300, and this is the GBX 100. These are coming up. I'll be doing a review on these two, comparing them head to head. I've had a few people say, hey, get the GBX 100. It's got the moon phase and the sunrise sunset. Much more helpful for the outdoor types, and I have to agree, but we'll get to that later on. But this one, I like it. I like the looks of it. Don't like the dials at the top. It's pretty chunky overall. There's a few other things about this that I don't know. It's just kind of a lot of stuff in here. So if you're okay with it, and I'm okay with it at times, other times it's like I like a simple looking watch, like the GBX 100. You get something like that, just much simpler to look at. Not a lot of busy stuff, not a lot of garbage on there. Of course, you go to some of the other screens, but that's because you're going to the other screens. If you're looking for the timekeeping mode, you still have to deal with those 3 dials at the top. The electroluminescent piece, I'll show you a quick video of that. Like, this is awesome. I love the EL function on here. I know that there's a history of EL lights kind of fading out quick. They don't have the same duration as far as durability as the LCD or the LED lights. However, the dispersion of light on there is so good, and it's not blinding. It doesn't light up the room necessarily. It just does a really good job of lighting up the dial. So for me, I like the EL light. I am not opposed to EL light Casios. I don't really have a huge preference between the two. I think they both have different qualities that I like. And yeah, I'm not really going to choose one over the other. I like them both. But overall, I like the watch. I'm going to take it off here. I think it does a good job. It's G-Shock, so you get the 200 meters of water resistance. You're going to get a reasonably good fit. The buttons on here are much more accessible than you have on the 5610U. Now, you may look at this and say, well, the numbering on this, the GWM 500, is this one of the cousins of that? It actually is. So it's a close cousin. It has a very different case design, but there's a lot of things about this that are fairly similar between the two. So yeah, it's a cousin. How close? I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, it's close enough to where I would call it a cousin of the 5610U, one of the Squares. So yeah, overall score 9.5 out of 10. It's one that I do recommend. I actually do wear it. I like it. I like the looks of it. I love the maintenance-free Tough Solar Multiband 6. Has all the functions I want. Automatic light, which I really like. Yeah, other than that, it's a little chunky, can be a little busy, and the 3 dials at the top, knock it down. Yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Put your comments down below what you think of this watch. It's a good Casio G-Shock. I highly recommend, especially for those of you that like the smaller case diameter and you don't mind something that's high off the wrist. Okay, so when you look at a watch, this is the GBD 300. You can see that it's different when it comes to height off the wrist. It's a chunky watch. It is that. Oh, it also has the comfort wedges underneath. Now, these are not the movable type where you see on the 300. They're kind of movable. Okay, you got the comfort wedges underneath here. But this one has kind of the built-in comfort wedges, and it's actually pretty comfortable to wear. Again, a little chunky off the wrist. 9.5 out of 10. Put your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this, and I appreciate all the prayers everybody's been sharing the comments with me. I really appreciate that. It's something that I'm dealing with, and it's been months of working through some family issues, and we'll see where things end up as far as God and His work in my life. And I just give Him all the glory because He's ultimately in charge, and I'm a tool in His hand, and I just praise Him for what He's doing in my life and the life of my family. So thank you very much. We'll catch you guys later.